Hi there! Today I'll be showing you how I use my Hobonichi A6 for functional planning, health tracking, and as a general memory keeper. This is a system that's been working for me. I've tested it out and maintained it throughout the year of 2024 after troubleshooting different styles and ultimately landing on my current system. I'll also show you how to adapt some of the features that I use into a week's book if you prefer to use that format instead. This is an older book that I have. I no longer use the week, so I didn't purchase a newer version of the book, but the format will still be the same even if you purchase a more current book. As you can see, I've moved into my Himitsu Stranger cover that I unboxed last week on my channel. It's so cute. I put on the cover on cover just to protect the fabric from getting dirty in case I spill any of my fountain pen inks on the cover. I'm not so bothered by the yellow as I thought I would. I still don't like it, but yeah, it's fine. I will say the cover on cover isn't a true clear plastic. It does have somewhat of a, like those pebbled leather covers have the texture to it, so it does have a texture on the inside, so it blurs out the images just a little bit. They do appear more crisp outside of the cover, so just keep that in mind if it was something that you may be bothered by. Okay, let's just get started. I use this to track my pain levels. So I have chronic back pains and I like to monitor the symptoms as well as days where the pain impacts my daily life and how it impacts my life. It's also helpful for me when I go to medical appointments that I have all the data at hand, especially if you have poor memory like I do. This really does help me. Some months, as you can see, I've been quite diligent and I've written in every single day, but then there are others where I've been less consistent. But for the most part, I will write down in the morning how I feel my pain is based on a key that I've set out for myself, and this is essentially on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being extremely painful. So I'll just write down in the morning how I feel, come back to this in the afternoon or the evening before bed and jot down has the pain increased or decreased in the afternoon, and then I will just in a very short summary, because I only have I think like 9 squares to fit in my symptoms, so I'll just do a quick summary of what my symptoms were for that day, just so I have at a glance view of everything, and if I need further information I can always refer to my daily page. On days where I do take an anti-inflammatory, I will note those with the highlighter just on that day. That's also helpful because at a glance I can see days where I required medication. So at the top I will use this space to tally the total number of days where I required medication, and if I required it multiple times on one day. I haven't kept up with that because it's mainly if I go to the doctor, if I need to summarize this month further, then I will use the box at the top. But yeah, I haven't needed to do it since, and it is just a even summarized version of what's already present here. For the most part, this is not decorated at all. It's purely functional and just serves its purpose. So I just use my Platinum Preppy pen in 0.3 with a carbon ink cartridge. If you don't require medical tracking or you don't need this for your life, another use for this index could be habit tracking or even mood tracking. However, keep in mind that there are only 4 boxes. Let me go to a blank page so you can see it. There are only 4 boxes. If you have to turn it, which you would have to do, turn your book horizontally and then write here, there's only 4 boxes, so your writing will be either very cramped if you tend to write bigger, or you just have to reduce the title of your habit. Like for example, the word running isn't going to fit in these 4 boxes. You'd have to shorten the word, so that could be kind of annoying, so keep that in mind. Also, you can do mood tracking and just color in the squares according to your mood, but like I said, it's only 4 boxes that you have, so that could be a bit frustrating to use. But that's another use of these pages. If you don't currently use them and you don't want to leave them blank, that's what you can do. You could also use this as gratitude journaling. So write a sentence, well, as much as you can in these squares of what you're grateful for that day. Or reading tracking, if you recording the number of hours that you are reading each day, if you are somebody who reads a lot. Yeah, so there's a lot of uses for these pages depending on what you require for your life. Okay, onto the monthly calendar. I tend to just write a highlight of the day in each of these boxes, so I don't actually use the calendar as a calendar, just because my life isn't that busy where to warrant me using it as a regular calendar. For work, I am required to use the shared calendar with my co-workers, so those items that are work related don't tend to come into my book at all. Like deadlines are not present here because I have them on the other calendar. So for the daily highlights, it's literally just a small summary of that day. It truly is not that deep. Like, I'm not that deep of a person, so it can be as simple and basic as I was productive today, or could be like me eating something for lunch and thought it was amazing, so I noted down I had a good lunch and what it was and how I felt about it. So that's literally it. Yeah, like I said, it's not that deep. It is helpful in that if you're having a really bad day, just forcing yourself to think of something good for the day and noting it down, especially on days where you've had bad days. Yeah, I find that to be really helpful for me. The little bar at the top where the actual number for the day is on this calendar, that's where I will note down any events for the day. So the event is like for the entire day, either birthdays or payday. I will always note payday. That's a very important day. Or any other events that last the entire day. So there is still function in this aspect of what would be considered memory keeping, since it's the highlight of the day. There's still some form of functionality. For the bottom section, there's some grid paper here. I use this as a form of media tracking from movies, TV shows, or books. They go down here in the bottom. For books, I will also include my not review, but like what I would rate the book. The left column I use for any quotes I liked that I've come across for the month. Normally it's from TV shows that I've watched, or even if it's from a book I've read. Even if I see a quote online, like on Tumblr or something, I will include it here as well. I try to leave these pages as they are, just in pen only. I prefer the look of that, especially when my daily pages have stickers and photos that I paste in. So I like to keep this simple and minimal. It also takes off the pressure, the creativity off myself, so I don't feel like I'm burning myself out trying to make the pages look pretty or anything. It is just as is. It could also, like, if you are somebody who needs color and stickers and decoration, this will be very boring for you, so I totally get that. Other uses for this outside of using it as a regular calendar would be gratitude journaling in these boxes if you want. The bottom, if you don't want to track any media that you've consumed, you could do your like how you expect the month to go, or your goals for the month. On the other side, you could like do a recap of the month. Did you meet those goals? Did the month turn out as you had anticipated? That sort of thing. That could be a recap for you if you want. Or you could do habit tracking or mood tracking or any kind of tracking on this bar. I've done it previously here. I am not a habit tracking person just because days missed for me are just a glaring representation of days that I failed at doing something. So it could work if you prefer to do habit tracking. There's plenty space to do 30 or 31 days. You will just have to rotate your book and write horizontally depending on what habits or whatever you are trying to track. Those are other uses for these pages. Now on to the daily pages. The checkboxes I essentially use to write out tasks that I have for the day. In this instance, it could be work related because it's still a personal task that I have to do, even though it's for work. So I will note that down and then check it off once I've done it, or like migrate it onto the next day if I have not, similar to how you would do bullet journaling. So yeah, those are just daily tasks. I also include events for the day because, like I said, I don't have a very busy lifestyle. So if I were to just write tasks, it would just be one or two of these checkboxes filled in. So I try to use the space and put in daily tasks or events as well. So I'm not too strict with these checkboxes. It also functions as sort of a daily recap summary for me. If I'm paging through my book, I can just look at the checkboxes and determine whether I want to reread what I've written for that day. So my fountain pen of choice is the TWSBI Eco in Fine. This is the white rose gold colorway. I only use this fountain pen. I do have others. I just prefer the feel and how this pen writes, so you'll probably be seeing a lot of this pen. I sometimes switch between the TWSBI and the Platinum Preppy even for my daily pages, but I tend to just prefer the TWSBI. Okay, so for the actual daily entries on the left column, this is where I will document further detail relating to my back pain and general symptoms. It is more detailed, and sometimes I do refer to the time if I had to stop my work at a certain time because I couldn't sit for any longer at my desk. I will note down, okay, at 2 p.m. I had to take a break, physically lay down, and then resumed at 4 p.m. or something like that. I just leave the timestamps as is and ignore it and just continue writing general symptoms throughout the day. The right side of the invisible line, this is where I will summarize my day and recap the events of the day. It's not super deep, but it's also not something that I tend to share or want to share online, so certain entries will be blurred out. I edit out the text in my photos just so it's not like readable. I also will tend to include a photo of the day. Either it's a picture that I've taken from my camera roll or an image that I found online that kind of resonates with the day for me. Like here, this quote on depression, I found I needed it for this day, so I stuck that in. I think it's from Tumblr that I got this. So yeah, the pictures that I insert are just general vibe for the day and just what I want to include if I don't have a picture that I've taken myself. I also include a bit of decoration. It's mainly stickers that I make for my shop that I will include. Yeah, and like I said, the quotes at the bottom, they don't bother me as much. I don't even notice that the quotes are there at this point. So some days I will cover them up with stickers or something, but that's very rare. I tend to just leave the book and focus on this portion of actual writable space. Sometimes I will divide the page into medical tracking and daily recap, but other times I will just write straight across. There are days though where I just don't have anything to document for the day. Like, for example, if I've spent all day knitting, then there's not much I can write about because I didn't really do anything else. I was just knitting while watching a show or binging something. So I will write down comments and thoughts about what I'm watching. So I'll note down I spent all day knitting today and I was rewatching Vampire Diaries for the umpteenth time, and then I'll either draw a line and then write down thoughts on the show, favorite episodes, who I hated, that sort of thing. I do try to limit media journaling in this book because this is primarily a memory keeper for this year, encapsulating my entire year. So I tend to do more detailed memory keeping, like book reviews and like TV shows and stuff, in my A6 notebook. But there are certain days where you just need to fill the page, and it was such a boring day, you didn't do much, you just need to fill the page. So as a fallback, writing on whatever media you consumed, I find helps me. And then the daily checklist is still there to reflect like my events of the day, even if the body of the content isn't super detailed. I still have the checklist to refer to if I need. But sticking in the images and my stickers, I tend to vary the placement because you don't want your book to become overly like excessively thick on one spot. So if you were to cover the quotes every single day, the book is going to over time just get thicker over this bottom bar because you just covered the quotes every single day for the entire year. And that just becomes annoying to write on over time because you don't have a smooth surface. And even if you bend the book in on itself, it's still an uneven surface. Like even writing, because I have stuff here, when I'm writing on here, it's still uneven. You can feel what you've pasted on the previous page. You can use a pencil board underneath if you want, but it still feel the uneven surface. So keep that in mind if you are sticking in things or you love deco and you want to paste in stuff into your books. They are going to get thick, and as the year progresses, it will become increasingly annoying to write on. For the back pages, so Hobonichi has little things in the back where you can write out stuff, and they have helpful information. So they do have a My 100 list where you can fill out 100 different items or whatever you want. Basically, this year I've done a My 100 in media where I am just listing everything that I've watched and read for the year here. As you can see, I'm probably not going to make it to 100 because we're already in September and I've barely made it halfway through. So doubt I'm going to reach 100, but that's primarily due to me doing a lot of rewatches of shows I like Dairy Girls or Schitt's Creek, and I don't like duplicate that entry into the My 100. If it appeared once, it's not going to appear again. So yeah, that's what I'm using the My 100 for. There's also a 365-day check-off sheet, which I haven't used this year, but I'm hoping to use it next year. It is strange though that this year had a leap day and they didn't take that into account for the sheet. I guess there wouldn't be enough space. I don't know. This is weird, and it is annoying me that it's not entirely accurate because we're technically one day short. Another helpful tip is if you don't know which day you're on, let me just find a page. You can refer to your daily. It does have the specific day on the daily page. So under the moon phase, you'll see the 7th of September is day 251. So then when you refer to your 365-day checkoff, you can just look for 251 and then color that in. That's pretty helpful and useful. Okay, so for the week's layout, you can use the yearly tracker, but it's very squashed. Like, let me get to the page. So here I was able to use it and reflect my pain threshold, but it's like you can't do much with this. The boxes are very, very small. I've seen people use these as like other trackers, so they use a color coding system and then color in the boxes for whatever they need. So that's another use you can use the yearly index pages for. The monthly, this is how it looks if you are doing a highlight of the day. It is very squashed though. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 6 boxes across. It's a very cramped writing style. I don't like this layout. I did keep it the same. You have very little space to write down the events at the top. It's just cramped. I don't enjoy using the weeks. The bottom, I was able to include the books that I read. I think this is only book. Oh no, there's a TV show. So yeah, what I've read and watched. I included a quote here. This is the quote from the hobonichi box for 2024. And then on the left column, I just filled in the space with a recap for the month of January, and then I just put in some deco. It looks fine, but it's a bit too squashed for me. For the weekly pages, I basically just did micro journaling, so whatever I needed to accomplish for the day, and then I just doodled. The notes pages, I think you get like 76 or 75 notes pages. It does have the invisible line, but there's only 6 boxes on the left side of the invisible line. It's so difficult to write in this book. Like, what are you going to write in 6 boxes? Your sentence isn't even going to be complete. I don't like the weeks. This is just general note pages you can do for whatever you need. People use it for commonplacing. I don't do commonplacing because I don't know how to. Yeah, there's that. That's basically how I use my hobonichi A6. I hope you found something in here that you could incorporate into your books. If you have any suggestions for me or other methods that you use and try out, please let me know. Or if you use your book in a different way, please share it with me. Tag me if you post your pictures elsewhere. I would love to check them out. I do post pictures of my book on Instagram, so if you want to see more detail in pictures of how I layer and do the deco, you can check out my Instagram page. I'll also be doing more videos on how to journal and primarily collaging and junk journaling for beginners specifically, because when I first started I didn't know what it was, how to do it, especially if you don't have a style or if you don't even know what you're doing. I couldn't find a resource that was very, very beginner friendly. So yeah, that video will be coming. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye.